Do you feel like you just don't belong? Like you don't know anything? Like you somehow faked your way into your current role and you'll eventually be found out and subsequently fired? You may have imposter syndrome. Don't worry though, this is an incredibly common phenomena in software engineering. Now make sure you stick around for the entire video because I'm going to tell you why you shouldn't worry about this, and more importantly, how you can use imposter syndrome to your advantage to even further your career as an engineer. So why shouldn't you worry? Well, first of all, imposter syndrome more often than not makes us feel like we don't belong and we somehow faked our way to where we are currently. Now, it's incredibly important to remember that this simply is not true. Now let's take a step back and for a minute think about the interview process for a software engineering job. Now that interview process is oftentimes quite rigorous and thorough. You'll go through many rounds of interviews talking to people that you are likely to work with, for example, other software engineers, engineering managers, and sometimes engineering directors. And depending on the size of the company, for example, in certain startups, maybe the CTO. And this does depend on the seniority of the position as well. Now, generally, at least in the context of a good interview process, all of these individuals will look for traits in you outside of your direct coding ability that make you a good fit for the job. Now, from my experience giving interviews as both a tech lead and an engineering manager, I have put people through to the next round and have hired people that failed coding challenges simply because they displayed a desire to learn and improve themselves. They actively took notes. They asked about what they could do better. And for a junior position, sometimes this is truly all you need. And in my personal experience, these are the candidates who will come into a junior position and end up excelling. And I think it is in part due to that great desire to just learn and constantly improve. Now let's talk about another component to imposter syndrome, which is simply when you're in a new context, whether it be from an internal team switch within your organization, or you're at a new job, you might be dealing with brand new code bases, brand new tech. And this is without a doubt, definitely an adjustment. The thing is, it always is. It doesn't matter what level you are as an engineer or how intelligent you are or how much you know. There will always be a learning curve here. Just know that you're not alone in that. You're not going to join a brand new team and be up to par with the engineers that have been working with that tech stack or those code bases for several months to potentially multiple years. It just doesn't work that way. However, you shouldn't let that overwhelm you. Here's what I like to do personally. I like to set aside time on my calendar each day, and I like to dedicate that to learning the code bases, learning the tech if needed, and just get up to speed with everything. And I'll do that until I feel comfortable. Now, eventually, what I'll do is I'll transition those time slots to enhance and refine my skills and knowledge base. Now, this time for self-improvement is both beneficial to you and the company, because what it does is you become a more skillful engineer, which in turn allows you to provide more value to the business. It's a win-win for you and the company. And any good manager in any good company will allow you to do this on company time. I always used to encourage the engineers on my team to dedicate time in their day to brush up on things in which they are weak, whether that be systems design, whether that be back end, whether that be some new tech that we might work with, so on and so forth. And this is something that I strongly suggest any engineer incorporate in their day-to-day, if you can. Now, if you can't do it every day, try to do it every other day. And if you can't do it every other day, just try to find time throughout the week to do it. But do it on company time. You want to make sure that you're constantly improving your skill set. And I feel like that also helps to alleviate some of the uncertainty that imposter syndrome creates. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments. Thanks for watching.